So I woke up covered in my own blood. It was crazy. It was fast. It was instant. There was no warning. I didn't have any time to prepare for it.
I'm gonna let you guys watch this entire video through, and then afterwards, we're gonna break it down a little bit, give you my thoughts and my reactions.
I was getting ready to go on a date with my wife, and the next thing you know, I was on the ground. I won't get into specifics, but you can kind of see I'm still recovering. I'm not gonna try to hide that one in case I look different, but it was a scary thing, and it came fast. And it made me really have a different outlook on life and how things go, what we do for ourselves, what we do for our family, how we live our lives. And no matter what it is, make sure you don't wait. That's the thing that I get from this. Don't wait to take action because it could come fast, it could come quick, and I'm lucky to be alive, and I feel great about that. And now I'm thinking about how I live my day-to-day life. That's really it. But don't wait. Don't wait to take action. You might be wanting to get a promotion. You might want to try out for the team. You might want to go on that vacation. It might be so many different things that people want to do that we want to do that we never do. So that's what I get from all. Don't wait for it. You might want to start a business. Don't wait. Just do it. You might hit the deck. I don't know. I'm lucky. I came back. It was just darkness. It wasn't anything else. I went to the darkness. I came back. I have no recollection. I have no memory other than coming back here. So don't wait. So I woke up.
Yeah, man, this is sad. This is very sad, especially as a Miami Heat fan. You know, I'm from South Florida, so I pretty much watched I watched a lot of Chris Bosh for those few years that he was here. You know, we went to a lot of games. You know, watched him help us win 2 titles. You know, 4 back-to-back trips to the finals, I believe. You know, a tremendous athlete, tremendous human being. You know, great family man. You know, you can't really find anyone that can say anything bad about Chris Bosh, and you can't say that about a lot of people. You know, never done anything bad. Never had his image, his name smeared in the media. No like baby mamas or anything like that. No financial trouble. No legal trouble. Nothing like that. So, just a pretty much good human being all around. You know. And an incredible athlete. You know, he pretty much led the Toronto Raptors, you know, in a time where they had like no other good players. And then, like I said, he came down to the Heat, and you know he helped us out tremendously. Great player. And then you know he retired around, I believe it was like 2016. You know, it was sad to see him go, but we understood because at that point of time he was dealing with some health issues, some serious health issues. You know, he had some blood clotting complications happening, and you know he had to make a decision. You know, that's best for him and his family. You know, he had to quit the game that he loves to take care of himself. And, you know, you have to respect when somebody does something like that. But this video brings a lot of things into perspective, and you can see, you know, that he's thinking about life in a different way now. And I like these kind of videos. And when, you know, famous people give us this transparency, give us a little glimpse in their lives when they're going through trouble like this, because, you know, if these people that are rich, you know, they have so many resources, and, you know, they're dealing with these struggles, you know, we're going to have the same struggles as well, you know, and we're going to have less resources than them. So we have to learn from this and be like, hey, you know, I may not have a serious condition now, you know, I may not be sick now, but statistically that's going to happen, you know. So we have to take what he says, you know, and think about it and start putting things in place for our family. You know, make sure you have like life insurance set up, you know, account set up for your family, savings set up, you know, so that way, you know, God forbid, you know, if your time comes sooner than expected, you know, you don't leave your family in a rough situation. Let's dive deep into this.
Covered in my own blood. It was crazy. It was fast. It was instant. There was no warning. I didn't have any time to prepare for it.
Yeah. And like when these things happen, this is how it happens. There's not going to be a warning. You know, you're not going to get a notification. Hey, you know, sit down. You know, you're about to faint. You know, you don't have proper blood flow or whatever it is, you know. And, you know, I've never had any serious conditions like this. One thing I do recall, maybe in like high school or my youth, I had like a heat stroke, where like I overheated, I was sweating a lot, I was in the sun playing basketball or football or something, and then, you know, I just kind of fainted. So I remember that was scary. So this is a more serious issue of blood clotting. You don't know what can happen. That's why you have to prepare for these kind of things sometimes. And it's hard to prepare for something like this because you just don't know when it's going to happen. So that's very scary. And then I believe the next part is even scarier.
I was getting ready to go on a date with my wife, and the next thing you know, I was on the ground.
Yeah.
I won't get into specifics, but you.
So now imagine how scary this situation has to be from him. You can see, the concern, the fear, the sadness in his eyes. He looks like he's been through a lot. So now imagine his wife, how his wife felt in that situation. She's just there thinking, they're getting ready. They're going to go have a nice night out. Him and his wife, they're going to go to dinner, who knows what else they're going to go do, but they're going to go enjoy themselves. And then this happens. She watches, her husband, this strong, tall man just faint right before her eyes, and that's it. I can't imagine, that happening to, my wife or my girl, that's a tough situation to be in.
You can kind of see I'm still recovering. I'm not going to try to hide that one in case I look different, but it was a scary thing and it came fast. And it made me really have a different outlook on life and how things go, what we do for ourselves, what we do for our family.
And sometimes it takes certain events in our lives to put life in perspective, to have us sit back and really think, have we been, doing or putting our attention on what we think is the most important in life, family, your close friends, your children, your parents. Sometimes we need to sit back and be like, hey, let me reach out to this, this cousin that I haven't reached out to or something like that. And sometimes I have to sit down and think about that because there are family members, that I haven't reached out to in a while. Sometimes, you're so caught up in your life, you don't sit down and you don't take time to interact and contact those people that, that are dear to you. So I like that.
How we live our lives. And no matter what it is, make sure you don't wait. That's the thing that I get from this. Don't wait to take action because it could come fast. It could come quick. And I'm lucky to be alive. Yeah. And I feel great about that.
Absolutely. And he should, he should feel great. When you come back from such a traumatic experience like that, you should feel good. You should feel great. You're still here. You're still fighting. And that's something that I've been having my own health journey the past few years, as I'm getting older. I used to play a lot of sports. I used to practice martial arts. I've been trying to get back into that. But I know that, at this age, late 30s, getting close to 40, I'm not going to perform like I used to. So I'm like, I need to start taking care of my health. I need to start exercising, going outside, get in sunlight, eating better, eating more fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, if you consume meat, I still consume meat here and there. Stay away from processed meats, try to get grass fed, the best quality meats and foods you can get, stay away from the processed food. That's one of the things that we hear across the medical industry. Stay away from the processed foods. It is garbage. Take care of your health, think about your future, think about your family, and put yourself and your family in a position to where you guys, God willing, you're going to be around for a lot longer to get to experience and have fun, enjoy life.
And now I'm thinking about how I live my day-to-day life. That's really it. But don't wait. Don't wait to take action. You might be wanting to get a promotion. You might want to try out for the team. You might want to go on that vacation. It might be so many different things that people want to do, that we want to do, that we never do.
Yeah.
So that's what I get from all this. Don't wait for it. You might want to start a business. Don't wait. Just do it. You might hit the deck. I don't know. I'm lucky. I came back. It was just darkness. It wasn't anything else. I came.
That's so crazy to hear, man. It was just darkness. You don't know what's going on. He probably doesn't remember anything. The last thing he probably knows, he was up. He felt the pain in his leg, I believe, is what he said. And then darkness. You get up and then you look in the mirror. And you're like, what the hell happened? I think it's great, when, famous people put these videos out there because it gives us an opportunity to learn, These people have a lot of reach, so a lot of people see it, and we learn from their experience. We take some gems, we take some info, we apply it to our own lives, and, we try to be better from it.
I went to the darkness, I came back. I have no recollection. I have no memory other than coming back here. So don't wait.
That's great advice, guys. So I'm glad Chris Bosh is still here with us. let's keep him in our prayers. Obviously, you can see in his comment section there are a lot of people, showing him support because he's just a great human being. You don't want to see this happen to anybody, especially someone as good of a person as Chris Bosh. So I'm glad he's still with us. I'm glad he's doing better. Hopefully, he's on the up and up. And you guys go ahead and let me know what you think in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.